Hello and welcome to my studio journal. Now back in 2022, I started to redesign my home studio, shifting from software to hardware for the first time. What began as a few videos for some curious students soon became an ongoing unfiltered record. Things are coming along pretty nicely, and I'm really happy with the way most of it is going. It's all the new stuff that's causing the problems for me. Otherwise, my studio would have been set up a long time ago. I tried these 19-inch rack units, the ones that I got built on the shelves. I'm trying to get those off of those shelves and into one solid place. So the patch bay, compressor, the mic preamp is going to be all in one section, which is going to make it much easier to use. And also, it's going to make those patch cables that I bought much more useful. If you notice, I have a box underneath the desk there. It's just giving me an idea of what this rack unit might look like under there. About a year ago, I bought these rack rails. Had no use for them. Well, now I do. So using that and using, yes, I'm willing to sacrifice. I had one extra shelf. I'm willing to sacrifice another shelf from a Billy bookcase that's just downstairs to try and make this little rack unit for underneath here. So that's what the plan is. I have to cut the shelf down to 2 feet so it can actually fit under there, and then mount the rails to it. And then I'm just going to start hauling out a power conditioner, patch bay, and the compressor, put those 3 units together, put them under there, see what it looks like, and then that way when I get the mic preamp, I toss that under there as well. That does create some other problems because as we see, we have the mixer back here. So then I have to somehow connect the mixer to the rack unit down here. I'm thinking of using a TRS snake. I don't want to spend $500, $600 on 2 TRS snakes. Like that's $500 each is what they cost here. I found a TRS snake, a 20-footer on Amazon for, it's like 50 bucks. It's the same mono price snake that I'm using over there, but I have a 3-foot version of it. For a total of $100 by the time I'm done, I might be willing to test it out. And then if it doesn't work, I can always send them back. Then we're starting to get closer because also the mixer then is really close to the Akai Force, which that's the USB link that I need to make. And so things are getting a little bit closer. So anyhow, here I go to cut some rails and cut some shelves. So I just got back from cutting down the shelves. So the shelves are now smaller or not as high, and they can fit underneath the desk like that. I have to now cut these rails, yike, which will take forever. But there's also another problem. I only have 2 bolts left, and I would need to have 4. So now what I have to do is, let me just turn this thing around here. I would have to go to these 2 boxes right over here, back over right there, and take them apart and see if I can salvage a couple of bolts from there that's going to make this work. That would be great. All right, so let's start talking about all the wrong things I did. Well, for one, the finished, well, not finished, but it's getting there. So I did mount the rack rails to the shelving unit. These bolts are a little bit longer than what they should be. Plus, so is the rail. So that means I'm going to have to head on downstairs and spend the next 4.5 hours with the hacksaw trying to fix that. Actually, it doesn't take that long. It's pretty quick. I didn't have any bolts around to secure the rack rails to the shelf, so I went and raided my mother's garage because it's pretty late at night, and I just wanted to get this thing done. So what I did instead was get drywall anchors. I found some drywall anchors, that is. And so it has a great big bolt on it like this. And it has this part right here that gets pushed through the drywall, and then it opens up to hold whatever it is that you're trying to anchor in place. Now the problem was this part right here would take up, well, almost a whole rack unit in itself, which meant I couldn't put in any cage nuts or screws on each side of that. So that would ended up being, well, it was a problematic thing. So instead what I did is I took this part of it right here, broke everything open into little parts like this just to get the one nut that's in the center of this. And so then I was able to get just the bolt and the nut. It really feels rock solid. Now I'm going to go down and cut all the metal parts off. Then I have to go over to this unit over here, disassemble it, and reassemble it in, well, the new rack system. I'm trying to basically not spend a whole bunch of money, like to go out and actually buy a sidecar or, an actual built rack unit, to find out that I don't like it, don't want it there, to find out that I'm going to return half this stuff. It seems that the other rack units worked well that I built, so this actually took a lot less time than what I thought. So here is the final thing. This is what they look like on the side. You can see the 3 bolts there, and then it just literally has the rack rail here. And these are just, once again, IKEA shelves that have been just sitting on their side. Now, I have to take apart the other unit over there and see if this works. Now, I might get everything together. This thing might fall flat on its face. Hopefully not. If so, I got a plan to fix that. What I'm going to do now is take the actual units and place them in here and place this under the desk. If you'd like to follow the full journey, check out my online studio journal linked in the description. Until next time, I'm just a music teacher having fun. Catch you on the next one.